From a standpoint of total yards gained on the ground, Cyril Pendler is the best rusher so far for the Eagles. It is second down and 6. Snead to throw. Pryor gets him. Fred Pryor, number 89, shooting in from the defensive right end position, nailed him.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. Before we get started, I want to say thank you so much, everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up, possibly leave a comment below, or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the absolute total dumpster fire, worthless piece of garbage game that the Giants played yesterday. I'll go over that in a little bit, but trying to just stay relaxed and calm and cool. And, I don't want to go off, for 20 to 30 minutes on that garbage of a football game. I'll go over that. I'll go with little bits and pieces of it, but I also saw an ad, talking about that. The Giants next season seem like they're going to be bringing back Joe Judge and Daniel Jones. I can kind of see, what Mr. Mara, he sees some things in Joe Judge. He's thinking, I don't know if he's seeing wins, but he must be seeing something in Joe Judge. Now, I could see, with Daniel Jones, now bringing back Daniel Jones does kind of make some sense. Because basically, we have no one else. I mean, if you saw the game yesterday, you've seen Mike Lennon in the past few games. You saw Jake Fromm against the Cowboys, then you saw Jake Fromm against the Eagles. Okay, so you kind of got a little taste there of what Jake Fromm's going to kind of start bringing to the table. Does this mean Jake Fromm is never going to play in an NFL, or he can never be a quality backup quarterback? No, but I mean, you're just seeing this is where he's at right now. And he's not going to play like what he did yesterday against the Eagles, and then just, just start throwing darts, basically because the play calling and the offensive line and all of that stuff, But you kind of see what we kind of got. So I can kind of see, with bringing Daniel Jones back. I don't really see us trading for anyone. I mean, I did see, of course, you see all kinds of things. I mean, I saw Marcus Mariota, Jimmy J, from the 49ers, because, I think it looks like they're going to be trying to just let him go, or, just try to get rid of him, and they can trade for him. That might be, a thought. The thing is, if you can trade for Jimmy G, it would have to be like, I was seeing in an article, you're not giving him a first rounder, maybe a third rounder, but you're going to have to pay the guy's salary, So, I mean, and that's something, we don't have much of, because we got like about $3 million in salary cap, and we got 10 guys we got to sign for the rookie class. We don't have enough money right now as it is, so we're going to have to start just jettison some players, maybe get rid of some guys, maybe restructure some guys' contracts just to be able to sign the rookie class that we have coming, much less bring in a quarterback. Jimmy G might, I don't know. I think he was like $27 million, I think it's next year. I mean, he's not making that, but I mean, even 20, just say 20 to 25 million, that's what that's what he should get. He took a team to a Super Bowl. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. He does have some injury problems, but I'm just saying is that it can be a hard time to trade for somebody because we don't really have a lot of money. You certainly don't want to trade for the Russell Wilson thing right now. I mean, you can't give him like your first 2 picks next year. You just can't. You have no team. You need, you know what I'm saying? And plus, you don't have any money. So it's going to be very hard to trade anyone. This year. Possibly after 2022, yes. But that's why you don't sign Daniel Jones long term. You let him see what he can do next year. And if he doesn't play well again, or if he gets injured or whatever, and you just want to let him go, you just let him go, and you'll have some money. You can bring somebody in. You maybe have some draft capital. You can do some trading, whatever you got to do. But as I said, I can certainly see they bring it down. And Daniel Jones is affordable next year. He's a quality quarterback. If you can protect him and all of that, so I can certainly see bringing Daniel Jones. Plus, I say I don't see any plug and play quarterbacks. Somebody you're going to put your number 5 pick in the draft in the first round, pick up a quarterback and let him sit behind Daniel. I just don't see any of that. If somebody really jumps off the page, maybe at the combine or something like that, all of a sudden the guy's on fire, possibly. But you also got to realize too that right now the Texans and the Lions are in front of the Giants, so if there's a really good quarterback, they might want to snatch him up. So you'd have to probably wait until not next year's draft, but 2023 draft, maybe, if you're going to look for any kind of a quarterback. So I could certainly see bringing Daniel Jones back. It just makes some sense. But also, next year will be his 4th year. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to pull the plug on the Daniel Jones project. Right? You just can't, let's bring him back for his 8th year. Somewhere along the line, it's either going to be yes or it's going to be no. So, next year, it's got to be for Daniel Jones. It's got to be. And that's even if he comes back from his injury. Let's hope he can. Now, the thing is, after watching the embarrassing loss to the Eagles, it's getting really harder and harder to find much positive to say about Joe Judge and the coaching staff. We were winning 3-0 until the Eagles ran off the next 34 points. The Eagles outscored us 34-0 at one point until we finally got Evan Ingram scored the touchdown. Nice pass from Mike Lennon, though. With 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the game, we finally got our first touchdown of the game. It took us 56 minutes to score a freaking touchdown against the Eagles. And last time we played the Eagles, we scored 1 touchdown. We scored 23 points against the Eagles in 2 games. Just ungodly, just unpathetic. It's pathetic. Now, the 34-0 we were outscored by the Eagles. I mean, there's multitude of games that you can go over, this year. I mean, you got the Broncos outscored us 27-7 until Daniel Jones scored a touchdown as time ran out, and they didn't allow the extra point. That's why it was 27-13. So it was 27-7. The 7-8 Denver Broncos came into our house and outscored us 27-7 with like about 5 seconds to go in the game. They were outscoring us 27-7. I mean, the Broncos aren't going to the Super Bowl. But they certainly, the Giants made them look that way. The Cowboys outscored us 44-20. The Rams were beating us 38-3 at one point until we scored a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion to make it 38-11. Tampa Bay outscored us 20-0 in the second half. And we were not losing. It was 10-10 at half, and then we got outscored by 20 points in the second half. We lost 30-10. The Chargers were beating us 37-7 at one point, so we were outscored by 30 points to the Chargers. The game yesterday was 3-3 at halftime, and once again, then we've scored 31-7 in the second half. We've been outscored 68-0 in the final 2 minutes of the first half in the football games this year. We've 11 out of the 15 games this year, the defense has given up a score in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Absolutely, unbelievably freaking pathetic. And we haven't even scored a point yet. 15 games haven't scored 1 point in the final 2 minutes of the first half. We've given up 8 touchdowns and we've given up 4 field goals in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Unbelievable. I mean, it's like, how does that happen? 11 out of 15 games, and we haven't scored 1 time. At the time, at halftime, you're supposed to go in and make adjustments, and come out and be better. What adjustments? Have you seen any adjustments? Except for, hey, what can we do to get blown out in the second half? Those are maybe the other team's making adjustments. We don't see them be making any adjustments. We've only scored 7 offensive touchdowns in the last 7 games. In the last 8 games, we've only had 1 game with a touchdown. In the last 8 games, 1 touchdown to our running back. In one game, we scored, our running backs scored a touchdown. In 1 game, in the last 8 games. You have to go back to week 7 versus Carolina, in which week we had a TD from a wide receiver. In the last 11 games, we've had as many TDs from our left tackle as we have had from our wide receivers in the last 11 games. And we've had combined. Because in the last 11 games, we've had as many touchdowns from our left tackle, receiving touchdowns from our left tackle, as we have had from our wide receivers combined. And there was 9 wide receivers. Combine all the touchdowns in the past 11 games, you have 1. Combine our touchdowns from our left tackle, you have 1. Oh my God. And now, are there any, you start looking at, I mean, Patrick Graham's doing a good job of what he has, but I mean, a lot of the, I mean, maybe Rob said, is he doing, I mean, we still can't run the ball. I mean, we're trying to get rid of the ball fast so we don't have a lot of sacks, but I mean, the wide receiver coach, is he doing great? I mean, the running backs are, I mean, it's like, I mean, my God, it's like, what, the play calling, I mean, it's like, the offensive play, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, horrible. It's like, it was across the board. As I said, the secondary from time to time, and because we're building up from, the secondary, our defense. That's how we're building. So the secondary should have some good game here or there. Right, so yeah, we're seeing a little bit of that, and sometimes Patrick Graham does do a decent job with, especially what he has, right? Especially because we have no defense. But I mean, man, we're just, it's unbelievable. It really, really is. That's, you guys getting a feeling, all right? How you guys feeling about Jake Fromm now, huh? I mean, I've seen all that stuff, Facebook groups and all that stuff. All right, let's put Jake Fromm in this, Guys, there was a reason he was picked in, maybe not so much in the 5th round, but there was a reason why he was on somebody else's practice squad, and he was unprotected. All right, he did okay against the Cowboys, 6 out of 12, moved us down the field. Once we got into the red zone, he was 0 for 4. We didn't get any points out of it, but I mean, he was 6 out of 17, 25 yards. He averaged 1.5 yards per pass attempt. 1.5 yards per pass attempt. I mean, that is like unbelievably, absolutely pathetic. He had the 1 interception. His quarterback rating was a 19.5. I mean, he threw 17 passes and he got a grand total of 25 yards. That is just unbelievable. Oh, I can't even, it's just like, how sad that is. Right? We had 192 yards of total offense against the Eagles. We averaged 2.6 yards per play. 2.3 yards we averaged per pass attempt, which is just like, pathetic isn't even, wouldn't even come close to describing how sad that is. Somehow we had 70 offensive plays. Somehow. We had more offensive plays than the Eagles. I mean, we had 192, we had 108 yards passing. This is the 10th game in a row. 10th game in a row we've had under 320 yards of total offense. 10th game in a row. Last time versus the Eagles, we ran the ball 27 times for 70 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. This time we ran the ball against the Eagles 27 times. We got a little bit better. We got 84 yards. We averaged 3.1 yards per carry. The Eagles only had 324 yards of offense, but somehow they managed to put up 34 points. Now, if Joe Judge wants to continue coaching in the NFL, something he's going to need to do. He's going to need to have to sit down and really go over his coaching. Sometimes your best buddies and this, that, and the other thing. It's great, because you feel comfortable with them and all and everything. But somewhere along the line, you're going to have to put your foot up somebody's frickin' ass. I mean, because what he's got going on. I mean, I understand, he got injuries. Okay, I get that. All right. But, when the Baltimore Ravens can take a third-string quarterback, Josh Johnson, third-string quarterback, the Jets even let him go. He was with the Jets. The Jets let him go. When you could put Josh Johnson, third-string quarterback, in there, he completed 70% of his passes. He threw for over 300 yards. He had 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception. His quarterback rating was almost 100. Third-string quarterback. He threw for over 300 yards. Now, of course, they lost the game because Joe Burrow threw for about 3,000 yards. But third-string quarterback, they just brought him out the street. The Jets let him go, and somehow they were able to put up 21 points. He was able to throw for over 300 yards. Third-string quarterback. The Giants, we can't even get 200 yards of offense. Period. So somewhere along the line, sometime you're going to have to start. He's going to have to sit down, all right, and really think about like everything. The play call and the playbook. I mean, Patrick Graham's doing a decent job. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like the strength and the conditioning coaches. You know how many injuries we've had this year? Every time I do a preview video of the game, every time I look at the injury report, every game so far this year, the Giants have had more injuries than their opponents have. And in many times, they've had far more injury. Like this game here, the Eagles had nothing, absolutely nothing. And they just played 5 days before. They had nothing, no injuries. The Giants had like 3 or 4 guys out. They had like 3 or 4 guys I think who were questionable. Guys coming in off the COVID, guys going on the COVID. It's like, and the Eagles have nothing. Every game, the Giants have had far more injuries than their opponents have. So he's got to sit down and really start thinking, who's working, who's not. I mean, like if Colombo, you don't like what's going on, this, that, you get rid of the guy. I understand. But sometimes your friends, right, you get a little too comfortable with them, the buddy with them, this, that, if they ain't working, you got to get rid of them. You got to do something. It's like when we got George Young, 1979. Wellington Mara and his nephew Tim Mara, they were co-owners at the time in 1979. They had been just feuding since like the late 60s. Neither one agreed with one another. All they did was fight. In the home games, they would have to put a partition in between the two of them so they wouldn't fight with each other. It was horrible. Andy Robustelli was kind of like the first GM we kind of had. He kind of got let go, or he quit after the '78 season. That was when we had the Miracle of the Meadowlands and all. And Pete Rozelle stepped in and he recommended somebody because Wellington and Tim Mara, they couldn't agree on a new GM to take over the operations of the team. So Pete Rozelle had to kind of step in and recommend George Young, who had been with the Baltimore Colts in the late 60s, early 70s, and with the Miami Dolphins, 2 very successful teams during those time periods. And he had to recommend somebody from outside the organization, somebody they didn't know, somebody they weren't familiar with, and brought him in, and he helped, bring us to 2 Super Bowls. So that's what he might have to do. Joe Judge just might have to do something like that. He might have to step outside his comfort zone, his friends and all, and look and see something, because there's successful guys out there doing successful things, guys that you don't know who might want to come in and work with you, and just ask. That's all you got to do. And if that don't work, if after next year we got another debacle, total dumpster fire like we do this year, Mr. Mara is going to have to step out of his comfort zone and start looking around and start saying, Joe Judge ain't working. I gotta get out, and I gotta come up with somebody who's out there successful, maybe that I don't know, that I can bring in and maybe turn this whole thing around. Because right now this is a total, absolute dumpster fire. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time any day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Woo!